Alright, it's been a couple days since I showed you the products that I got. I'm back in my shop and I've got my jojoba oil rag in a can here ready to show you. And what I did is I had a newer container of this Minwax finish or stain. And the reason why I went with this instead of like a tomato can or something is because I like the smooth surface look better than the rippled surface that I was getting with the cans that you have for like food from your pantry. So I just went ahead and used this and dumped the contents of this one, which was about half gone, or well, it's about half left. I dumped that into another small one that I had that was plastic, and just cleaned this out with some mineral spirits and water and soap and whatnot, and rolled up a t-shirt and stuffed it in there. I cut off all the seams from the t-shirt, like the neck, the bottom seam, etc. And then I just rolled it up real tight, stuffed it in there, and then in my vise right here, my leg vise, I just pushed it in the rest of the way, and it mushroomed out a little bit. Then I soaked it over a couple days. This is all the amount I've used so far. So what, maybe a quarter to a third of it? If you smell it, there is a slight odor to it. It's not the most pleasant odor I've ever smelled, but it's oil, so I mean, it is what it is. It's not foul or anything. It's not disgusting. And in fact, you're able to, as you're fixing it up, you can just rub it onto your hands and onto your arms, elbows, whatever you want. And it did leave my hands feeling a little bit softer, I guess, which is cool. So it's a nice little side effect. It soaked in. I applied more, let that soak in, did more, and now I've just been seeing exactly how much I need to do. I don't think I need any more. If you decide to make one of these rag in a can things that you've seen a lot of people do, myself included now, and Paul Sellers is one of the major motors behind this technique, you're going to have to let it really soak in, because when you first apply, if you just apply it right after it's on, sort of gets soaked in, it's still overly saturated at the top, and it's just going to leave a nasty, a huge, thick, slathered coat of oil. But if you let it soak for a little bit and then use it, I don't know if you can see the sheen. It's much, much less. It's almost like you're not putting any on at all. So you can just do this, oil it that way. It leaves a very light coat, but you know it does, because if you run your finger across it, it shows your fingerprint smearing the oil, or it shows your finger dragging the oil and leaving a mark. You can do it that way, or you can just take it like that. So mine, because I chose to make it a smaller one, I've got to wipe it like twice, but with thinner ones, or with thinner planes, or less wide planes, and then a larger can, it should just be like that. In fact, you could probably do that anyways. And I really like this because apparently it helps lubricate, but also, you know, I'm really concerned about just making sure all the surfaces where my hands are touching are staying nice and oiled, and I can do that. So, you know, we'll see how that does to keep the rust down. Now, as a quick little test to see if any residue of the oil is left on the wood, I just want to show you that that's dry. I just went over this without having oiled my plane. Now I'm going to see what happens. I just oiled it. I'll show you one more time. I'll oil it. See if it overly saturates it. So here we go. Okay. As far as I know, nothing. And if you look down at the bottom of the sole of the plane, you see how there's like, it's definitely shows the track of the wood in the middle where it went over it. So it has some oil still left on the side here, which is great. Like I said, it's very, very light, the amount of oil that gets on this. It's really impressive. Yeah, so overall, I think it's just a very little amount of oil that gets on it. And since I'm using a very natural oil, apparently jojoba oil is about as close as to the type of oil that your skin naturally produces. I mean, seeing what's left on this plane and seeing my own fingerprints that I've left on a plane and on chisels and whatnot. I don't think I'm leaving so much more of this on here than my own fingerprints are. Now, of course, I'm sure if you were to actually be able to quantify it, yeah, it would be a lot more, but my opinion is it doesn't look like that much. And I can't even really tell on the surface that I've just planed. But I know it's there because I can smudge it and I can feel it with my hand. Overall, I'm really, really pleased with this. I'm pleased with how this little rag in a can turned out. I'm excited about the fact that I've been worrying about keeping this thing from rusting. Anyways, that's why I went ahead and got the jojoba oil because Lee Nielsen recommends for their planes, and they also say you should put a rag in a bag and just wipe it down. And I thought, well, this just seems like the best thing. It can lubricate your plane and save it from rust. Anyways, I'm really satisfied with this, and this is just my tip for you. If you want a really nice looking can and you already have a small can of stain sitting around, just get it out, clean it out with some mineral spirits or paint thinner or whatnot. And then I did poke some holes like on either side, so that way if any excess seeps up to the top, it can drain easily and whatnot. Thanks so much for watching. Hope it's been enjoyable and useful, and I'll see you around here for the next one.